These are the quiz corrections for Math 3 quiz number 12 on sections 4.1 to 4.2. This was taken on January 11th, 2016. Directions: show all your work in the space provided and box your answers. The quiz was out of 40 points. Question number 1. Given each pattern, describe each given pattern. So here I labeled this the first term, this is the second term, and this is the third term. I noticed that each term they're taking away the bottom row. Okay, that's how I described it, because I noticed that there's more boxes and there's less and there's less. Okay. So if you mention something about subtracting, okay, but you have to talk about an entire row. 1B, provide the next two patterns. Well, if I take away this bottom row, then I'm only left with these 4 boxes. And then after that, I only have 1 box, because I would eliminate those 3. Write a numeric sequence. Numeric means a number sequence to represent each given pattern. So I just count up all the boxes here. That's 25, 16. This one is 9. This one becomes 4, and that one becomes 1. Now notice how I have an extra blank here, which means that if I remove this bottom row, or remove that row, there would be no more left, so that would be 0. This is called a finite sequence because there's an ending to it. There's a start and an end. It doesn't keep on going forever. There's no more boxes to eliminate. Each of those were worth 2 points. Notice how these directions in this one says circle 1. Question 2A. Describe each given pattern. This one I said the pattern is adding another column to the left. That's how I described it, or you could have said adding another row to the bottom. For example, there's 1, and then there's 2, and you add another row, that's 3, and the next row has 4. Okay, so very similar to the other problem above. Provide the next 2 in the pattern. So providing means actually, they didn't give me any numbers up here. They're pictures. So you should have drawn them. Remember, if you're confused with what you're asked to do, you can always ask during class or during the quiz. Remember, during the quiz, you should not be asking me a question such as, is this correct, Mr. Ng? You can ask me a clarifying question, but you should not ask for feedback if you're doing the question right or wrong. So my next one is I just add another column. In that case, that one has 5, and this one has 6. If you count them up correctly, you'll have a pattern of 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, and 21. Notice here you're adding 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and the next one will be 7. And the reason why this is called an infinite sequence is because that the numbers can keep on increasing forever. That page was out of 16. On the back side, determine if the sequence is, let's just say, a geometric or arithmetic, and the common difference / ratio. 2 points for each blank. So I recognize that when I'm going between each of these numbers that I'm multiplying by a -2. The reason why I see that is because I see it alternating, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So -2 times a -2 gives me +4, +4 times -2 gives me -8, -8 times -2 gives me a +16, 16 times -2 gives me a -32. Again, another way you can solve that is what's there on the whiteboard, or taking your second term, 4, and dividing that by your first term. 4 divided by -2 gives you -2. -8 divided by 4 gives you a -2. This sequence is a geometric. It's a geometric because it has the common ratio is -2. So there's all my -2's. Notice how geometric is a second word, and then ratio is also the second word. Remember, you should be doing your quiz corrections over here in this space. Question number 4. The sequence is an arithmetic. It's an arithmetic sequence because the common common difference is -7. Difference means adding or subtracting. So therefore you're subtracting 7 in each of those. Question number 5, write the first 5 terms of the sequence. First term of the sequence is 8, so there you just write an 8 there, and it says D is equal to 12. So D equals 12 means it's a common difference, therefore you shouldn't be adding 12 to each of those. If you missed one, I took off a point, you would get a 3 out of 4. If you missed 2, then I took off 2 points. Here it says the first term of the sequence is -9, and then it says R is equal to -2. Remember, R means geometric, which means you should multiply. Multiplying means multiplying by -2 for the first term. -9 times -2 is 18. 18 times and -2 gives you -36. -36 times -2 gives you positive 72, and 72 times -2 is a -144. And question number 7. This is a Ken-Can. Same idea with Sudoku. Fill in the blank squares so that each row and each column contain, that should say the numbers 1 to 4. Numbers in cages may repeat as long as they are not in the same row. If you guys haven't seen this pattern, let's see if this works. Now for a 4x4, I started with the freebies. So there's 1. You just write the number 4 there because there's no math operation. And over here with a 1. Let's double check that I'm correct. There's no repeating numbers in this row. Nothing here, nothing there, nothing there. And no repeating numbers in the columns. Now in a 3x3, did you guys see the trick going across diagonally?
Yes.
It had a repeating number, right? But in this case, do we have that?
No.
No. This side was out of 24 points, and 24 and 16 gives you 40 points.